Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh. Alhamdulillah, we were able to finish book number 2 and printing multiple copies. So student, after finishing book number 1, for beginners, reading and writing and pronouncing, even tajweed. So then they will be able to understand the grammar, starting with the nouns in this book, all about nouns. Chapter 1 is the noun substitute, like ضمائر pronouns, attached pronouns, ضمائر متصلة, demonstrative اسم الإشارة, الاسم الموصول, relative pronoun, and الأسماء الخمسة. So here we have so many exercises and explanations, and of course all the examples are Quranic sentences. So students here, they will be able to recognize the number, gender, and the person. So after that, they have chapter 2, which is all about names mentioned in the Quran. We start by talking about names of colors, names of numbers mentioned in the Quran, and then names of things that Allah created in sky and on earth, and of course with examples and exercises from the Quran, so students will be able to memorize the vocab, and then they will be able to recognize them. Also names of thamarat, fruits and vegetables in the Quran, and then names of animals mentioned in the Quran. There's so much coloring opportunities. You see here the exercises are all Quranic, and they have to recognize which one is which. And then in chapter 3, it's the derived nouns, al-asma al-mushtaqqa, that we talk about adjectives or sifat. Mushtaqqa means like we have to know the verb behind it. But in the first thing, we need to recognize al-asma al-mushtaqqa, that what form. So we have fa'il and muf'il with examples. After knowing the adjective form, and then we know the number and gender, we will be able to know the verb behind it, or the roots, so that we will be able to recognize the different forms of verbs and how to convert this verb to a pronoun, to an adjective, And here, for example, you can see even the names of Allah will be engaged in this explanation. So that will enable the student to understand the names of Allah, not only memorize it. And after that, we'll talk about like different forms of adjectives. Instead of fa'il, muf'il, we have fa'ul, fa'il, fa'al, fa'lan, and also with examples for sure. الاسم التفضيل, like comparative nouns, like أفعل, فعلة, حسن, سيء, and it's all mentioned in the Quran. And then we have the اسم المفعول, which is like also a derived noun, but it's not like the doer is the affected adjective. You can see here the verb can turn to fa'il, اسم فاعل, or اسم مفعول, with examples for sure from the Quran. And then we talk about al-masdar, the verbal noun, and we have a lot of explanation here. So because like it's not easy for a student to recognize the name of the masdar derived from the verb, but alhamdulillah, our students were able to figure it out. And after that, we have a masdar with the adjective derived from the same verb. And then we have more examples about we talk about the adverb of time and place, because this is part of the derived nouns. And at the end, we have this page that all about nouns. Students will be able to know all this, and you can see the underline that those are the names or the nouns they will be able to comprehend. After reaching this chapter, they will be able to know the location of the noun in a sentence and how it's going to play a role in the sentence and how the location is going to change the mark of the noun itself, if it's fatha, dhamma, kasra, and if it's a doer or affected. And after finishing this book, they will be ready for book number 3, all about verbs. Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullah.
Okay, what do I put al-musallin? The third one. Okay, another form of musallin. What is it?
Musallina?
We have musallina. Musallun. Khadija? Musallun. Musallun.
Is the original Musallin?
Yes. What else? Give me the different forms. How about singular masculine? What is it? Musalli. You're right. Musalli. Musalli.
You said no.
I didn't say no.
No, him.
Oh, him.
Yeah.
Musalli.
Musallina.
What do I add now? What's 2? Musalli. Musalliyani.
Musallin?
Musalliyani. Musalliyani and musalliyani.
What's the first form now?
Musalli. What do you think the verb will be when we say musalli?
Yusalli.
Say it again.
Yusalli.
أحسنتم ما شاء الله يصلي. يصلي مصلي. How about a girl? مصلي. مصلية. ما شاء الله. مصليتان.
مصليتين.
أحسنتي.
مصليتان.
How about group of girls?
مصليتان.
مصليات. مصليات.
مصليات.
أحسنتي. مصليات. ما شاء الله. Perfect.